What's going on, everyone? Onorato and Miller, Chris and Ash, a lot to get to on the show, but I want to start just by saying thank you to everybody who responded as much as you did, as positively as you did to our story about our baby boy Nash, and whether it was an email, a social media message, or even going as far to make a donation. Even if we haven't gotten back to you yet, we have noticed, and we certainly will.
It'll take us a while.
Yeah, but we had a great first event, bocce, at the Troy Italian Community Center. Our thanks to the ICC. Lou Chaldone, who is a bocce savant, really helped to organize things for us, and people had a great time. So thank you to all of you.
Who knew bocce could be so fun?
Well, yeah.
I mean, we have a fun group, so that helps.
Yes, but... and people started so timidly and then got really into it, which was a lot of fun to see.
And Nana stole the show.
So thank you, everybody, for your positivity and support over the last week or so. All right, we've got Bill Belichick to North Carolina. We've got seismic moves in Major League Baseball's free agency. We've got our NFL picks for Week 15, already Week 15. The college football playoff bracket is out. We'll get to the first round games as well. And Albany FireWolves head coach Glenn Clark on the show ahead of the home game Saturday night against Calgary.
This is Onorato and Miller, sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Alpenhaus, Marcella's, Performance Industrial, Bev's, and Novice. All of them in some way involved in our fundraiser for the Nash Weston Onorato Memorial Foundation, that bocce event. Right. We sold the thing out so quickly. We had a finite amount of space. And so we wanted to get more people there. We weren't able to, but certainly we will plan better the next time and hopefully get more people involved. But good to have you with us, Carol, as always. Sam, you as well. And Brian.
Just saw Brian.
Did you?
Stopped at CVS.
Yeah.
Saw him.
Yeah, that's almost a guarantee. The guy's always working. All right, this is the news of the week. It's news that almost will take over the conversation even during the college football playoff. Like, as you watch college football playoff games, conversation will be had in the broadcast booth about Bill Belichick going to North Carolina. How shocked are you, 1 to 10?
I have to say I'm pretty shocked. I know that kind of started, was it a week ago even? Maybe not a week, but and I thought, this is never going to happen.
Right.
He's never going to go to college football. He's not a college football guy.
And not North Carolina.
He's an old curmudgeon-y guy who kids don't want to play for, who a university doesn't want to deal with. And lo and behold, going to North Carolina. Now, here's the deal. The ACC is one of the most winnable conferences in college football. Mm-hmm. You've got Florida State falling off the map, and Clemson that isn't the Clemson of 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. So you get good quick. You get NIL money and supporters from alumni and millions of dollars coming in and people who think he can turn this program around. It's not outlandish to think that they could win that conference. I also think it's just, if people are really going to buy into the idea that he's going to better prepare you for the NFL, fine. And maybe that's true. Maybe he'll run a lot of what he ran with the Patriots at the college level. Okay, cool. Kids aren't going to enjoy playing for him.
Well, what we've learned through NIL and the transfer portal is the idea of a blue blood in college football almost doesn't exist anymore. A program can become good really, really quickly because of those two things, the portal and NIL. And when you hire a guy like Bill Belichick, there are enough wealthy North Carolina alums who are going to want to now put their support financially behind this program so they can say, hey, I helped us win an ACC championship. I helped us get to the college football playoff and maybe even beyond some of that. So I think if you're Belichick, and any head coach for that matter, you don't need to choose a program based on its history or tradition. You just pick, hey, where do I want to live? What's the campus like? Is this a good life for me? Because I can win almost anywhere if I have the boosters to do it. UNC certainly has it. People have talked about this program as like a sleeping giant forever. Right. But now, guess what? They're going to spend it on football. Why? Because football, as much as UNC basketball is great, but football will make so much more money than the basketball program could ever dream of making. So they were.
Well, I don't know about dream. You have Michael Jordan involved in your basketball program.
Okay.
It's sort of like.
Yeah. Jordan's a difference maker for sure.
And listen, they're going to sell out.
Correct.
Well, I know I'm saying they're going to sell out every basketball game from now until eternity. It doesn't matter. Football, you lose a couple games early on. I'm not sure you're selling out that stadium to begin with. So yes and no. You're going to make a lot of money from boosters, but that money's not going in your pocket. That money's going to the players.
Yeah.
So I still think you're going to make a lot of money in basketball and you're going to win a lot in basketball, but
Colorado football is making more
the
than
basketball team's not any good.
Then
I mean, they're okay.
Colorado football is making more money than maybe, I don't know, but certainly most college basketball programs across the country. That includes Duke, North Carolina. Football makes the money in college athletics. So it can happen here with Belichick. And I guess it better because here's some of the financials here. Belichick's going to make $10 million a season. His first 3 years are guaranteed. And then every single season he has at play an additional $3.5 million per season in bonuses. Now, that's tied to an ACC championship. It's tied to making the college football playoff. It's tied to winning coach of the year. It's tied to winning a national championship. It's number of regular season wins. So there are a lot of things here that he may not make the full 3.5, but he could make $1 million in his first season if he wins a certain number of games.
At $10 million a season, who cares?
Correct. Now, if he wants to leave before 2025, he's going to owe UNC $10 million, but that's not going to happen. He's there for at least 2 years. And then it's easy for him to get out. It's only $1 million every year to leave after that. So is the idea of him never going to the NFL again? I don't see him coaching in the NFL again. This feels like 4, maybe 5 years at UNC, handed over to his son, Steve, and that's kind of what he has in mind anyway. All right. How do we measure success for Belichick at UNC? What does success look like to you if I say, hey, Belichick did well at UNC? What does that mean?
An ACC championship and an appearance in the college football playoff.
Just one.
Huh?
Just one.
I mean, he wins an ACC championship, he might be on to the next anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, who's ever talked about North Carolina? I understand we've had Drake May. I understand there are players to come through that program, Mitch Trubisky, that have been big names.
Julius Peppers.
Neither one. Yeah, and I get it. And yet there has not been much talk of an ACC championship on any of those teams. Yeah. Good quarterback, not good quarterback, Julius Peppers or not. We've never talked about North Carolina winning an ACC championship. So an ACC championship, which then guarantees you a spot in the college football playoff, would be a success.
Yeah. Sam says need to make the college football playoff at least once. I wouldn't disagree.
And he'll make it more than that. If he makes it once, he'll probably make it more than
because, look, Clemson is 10-3, and they're in. They were 6-6 with Mac Brown. Belichick is going to get better players than Mac Brown had.
Well, Belichick's making $10 million a year.
So he can get to 9 wins.
Yeah.
This will get interesting. Sam's not giving him a very long leash or a lot of hope that he's going to be all that good. Carol says, so who's going to the Lions? They're not going to fire Dan Campbell. Maybe the Bears, she means. Maybe the Bears, because the Bears have a head coaching opening. And obviously it's an attractive job with Caleb Williams. I think the NFL said, man, to him, right? I mean, yeah, Lawrence Taylor's a guy we didn't mention. Mike says 10 wins. Measure of success, 10 wins. I would agree. Look, now in Vegas, the over-under for year one for Belichick right now is 6.5 wins.
I think he does better than that.
Me too.
Because
Me
the
too.
conference outside of Clemson, Pittsburgh is not incredible. So I think it's I would hammer the over on that.
Malik Murphy had a really good year at Duke this year. He was the transfer from Texas. He was backing up Quinn Ewers, kind of stuck between Ewers and Manning, and so he left. He had a really good year at Duke. He's in the portal. He could go to Carolina. That'd be interesting. Duke to UNC. I mean, Belichick is going to get a big name quarterback. It's going to happen. So he's going to have a legitimate shot at double-digit wins.
Somebody who I would want to go to Syracuse. Like we played this game of Syracuse needs someone from the portal, a backup who's not going to play.
I mean, Brian's 10 or more in year one. I love it. Like,
I think
we're already
9.
putting these expectations on him. He's never coached in college at the head coaching spot.
Did you see all that money he's about to get? Yeah. The expectations are going to be, you better flirt with double digits by year 2.
And this is what you've been saying, Ash, right? Doesn't have the temperament for college football. Can he coach kids? But in the way that we view college football and coaching kids, right? This is darn close to professional football as it gets. You basically have free agency with the portal. You basically have contracts with NIL. So,
but not. I mean, you don't have, as far as I'm aware,
in terms of money, they're making money.
You come take your money and walk.
Yeah,
and
they're making money.
But I do think if you're going to say, hey, get ready because this is what you're going to have me or people like me, and you won't because there's nobody else like him in the NFL. So I'm going to run this like an NFL team. I'm going to treat you like NFL players. I'm not going to treat you like children. If that's the idea, then okay, fine. Yeah. You're going to learn quick. You'll have 3 years of that and you move on.
Sam says depends on their schedule. No Miami.
Doesn't matter. I mean, and that's the thing. In the ACC, even if you had the hardest schedule, it's still not the SEC.
No Miami, no Florida State. The toughest games they play, they host Clemson and they play at Syracuse. Those are the tough. Now the schedule isn't out yet.
And who says at Syracuse is tough, depending on what that.
Those are the toughest conference games they have as you look at it now. Their opener is against TCU at home, not an easy one either. Those are the 3 toughest games that it will be on the schedule because they don't play SMU, they don't play Miami, they don't play Florida State. We'll see what that program looks like. So there's a path to 8 or 9 wins. And I would view that as a success. I don't think he has to get to 10.
For sure. I think it's an ACC title. However many wins that looks like. Yeah. And I think it's feasible in season 1. It's going to sound crazy. But
to win an ACC title.
Yeah.
He's
going to go cherry pick guys anyway. I mean, he's going to, I would be shocked if there is half of the current North Carolina team left when he's done doing what he's done.
SMU's quarterback who started the year is also in the portal. There are guys out there for sure. This was funny. Our buddy said, bring David Tyree out as honorary team captain for when Belichick comes to the Q.
Stick a football on his helmet too.
That would be fun.
That'd be so good.
Are you in any way rooting for Belichick to have success?
No, I'm rooting for my team to have success against Bill Belichick and UNC. I would like them to be good because it would be more fun, but then I'm going to root for my team to beat them.
Well, I get that. Okay. But you're not rooting against Belichick every time they take the field.
I hate him. Yeah. I mean, I will never root for him to win games. He was the Patriots head coach. Arguably my most hated team of all time. It's the Patriots and the Red Sox, and it's very, very close, but sometimes I feel like the Patriots bother me more than the Red Sox, at least recently.
I hope he has success because it just makes him more interesting, right?
Yeah, and I agree. I think so too.
Deion last year, Colorado started hot, they fell off, and nobody paid it. There's more juice now, right? And obviously they don't make the playoff. It would be more fun if Colorado were in the playoff because of Shador, because of Travis Hunter, but also because of Coach Prime. This is better for college football. It's better for college football if Belichick does well. Now, he doesn't have to win titles, but at least if we get a North Carolina, if we get Bill versus Dabo in an ACC title game. Sign me up. And then I don't care really who wins.
And this is how many articles have you read about the ACC is about to be no longer? Guess what?
Yeah.
Someone just saved the ACC, and his name is Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Because now all of a sudden people give a you-know-what about the ACC. We're talking about Florida State leaving it, and there are no good teams, and now everyone is infinitely interested in North Carolina and the ACC. We're back, baby.
All right, let's take a quick time out here. We'll get to the college football playoff first round games. Notre Dame, Indiana to get us started a week from now, really on the 20th, but we'll show you the bracket and the easiest path forward. It does not belong to the number one overall seed, which is why all of this is, of course, so backwards. It's not run by the NCAA, but the playoff committee, and the way their hands were tied because of automatic bids and buys has totally messed this thing up. What a shock. All right, we're back in a minute here on Onorato and Miller.
I'm Jeff Ukelek. I'm owner of Bev's, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just going to have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always going to get the same experience when you shop at Bev's. At the end of the day, if you walk in your stores, you're going to see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
Scrambling to find those last-minute gifts? Relax, Alpen House has you covered. Visit today and give the gift of adventure. We offer the latest in Yeti coolers and drinkware, as well as home goods from Stonewall Kitchen family of brands. Check out our incredible selection of skis and snowboards from the industry's top manufacturers. If you're looking for winter apparel, we have the best in performance and style. And an Alpen House gift card is the perfect stocking stuffer. Make it a holiday season they'll never forget. Find something for everyone on your list at Alpen House. Visit us in Amsterdam, Clifton Park, and High Adventure in Latham.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpen House.
All right, fun conversation around Bill Belichick. Sam wants to plan a road trip. That will be a good ticket. It'll be a tough ticket.
A tough ticket to get.
Schedule is not out yet in terms of the date of when that game's happening, but it will be at the Dome.
Depends on how the Q season starts.
Yeah.
If people are disinterested after 3 games, then it can be an easy ticket to get.
You hope it's early enough in the season, right, where it doesn't depend on Syracuse's or Carolina's success. I don't know if Carolina stinks. Do people still want to go because Belichick's coaching them?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Tennessee and Ohio State, the 9-8 matchup. Buckeyes athletic director today, as we do the show live on a Thursday night, was asked about Ryan Day coming back, and he said, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, listen. Yes.
They lose this game, he's absolutely coming back.
If they lose this game, maybe not absolutely.
So this is what people don't understand how to, and you don't want to. Look, I get it. You want to throw your support behind your guy, and you don't want to make it going into a college football playoff game looking like he's on the hot seat or that he has to win this game. But to use a word like absolutely, the answer should have been, I would expect him to.
Yeah.
Which means he better win, or maybe some of it's up to him. Like, you've now painted yourself into a corner because you say, absolutely, he loses this game by 2 scores. You think that fan base wants him back? You think the boosters want him back? He's 1-4 against Michigan.
You think that absolutely is going to mean anything?
No, I know that's the problem.
So who cares?
All right.
It's like when people say it's my dream job. It's my dream job. 2 years later, I'm out.
Yeah.
Well, what happened to the dream job? It wasn't that much of a dream,
Dreams
apparently.
change.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State wins this game anyway, home at the Shoe. But I think this has the potential to be a really fun game. Yeah. If the weather isn't so difficult for Tennessee. Okay. Oregon's the 1 seed.
They got hosed.
And they potentially get the Buckeyes, a program that a lot of people were picking to win the national championship at the beginning of the year. Yes, I understand they lost at Oregon. Then they lost at home to Michigan. I get it, but they're still as dangerous as ever. That's tough. Indiana, Notre Dame, the 10-7 matchup.
Fun.
Yeah.
I said this to
you.
In-state? An in-state thing.
Cool.
In-state, it's not a rivalry, but an in-state rivalry is fun. this is a no-win situation for Notre Dame. You lose to Indiana,
Yeah,
and it's
you
like,
can't.
oh my God, what happened? You
Yep.
beat Indiana. Okay, you were supposed to beat Indiana.
Yep.
Notre Dame better win that game.
Yep. I agree. And the later it goes, the closer it is, that thing's
They're
gonna
gonna
get tight.
Yep.
But Notre Dame wins comfortably, I think, because Indiana is good, but
Not that good.
Notre Dame's defense has been so good this year. Now, is it SEC good? Like, will they be able to hang with Georgia in the second round? I don't know. We'll see. But I think Notre Dame comfortably there. I think the number is 7.5. I would expect them to win by 2 scores. SMU and Penn State. This is kind of fun. The Mustangs will go to Happy Valley, right? As I've always said, if you just want more football, cool. If you want more good football, we're not necessarily getting that. But we get matchups, Ash, that we don't normally see. So this is
I
fun.
like it. Yeah.
SMU at Penn State. Boise State is the 3rd overall seed. They get a first round bye. They'll play the winner of this one. And then Clemson and Texas. Arizona State is the number 4 overall seed.
None of it makes any sense.
They get a bye
Yeah.
in this one as well.
You know who I'm happy for?
Okay.
Elizabeth Hurt. Elizabeth Hurt is now in the playoff.
Yeah.
TCU's been in the playoff. UT.
She ditched Ole Miss
She's
because
like,
they
"I'll see
never
ya."
deliver.
There you go.
And SMU gets
I
in.
mean, the Hurts. They're like undefeated, and
I'm going to take Ohio State. I'm going to take Notre Dame. I'm going to take Texas.
you're gonna take all
And
the
I'm going to
favorites.
take Penn State, all the home teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the
Because these
favorites.
are home games,
Yep.
remember. I would love to pick SMU. That would be fun. And then looking beyond that, I think Notre Dame has a real shot to beat Georgia. Penn State has a real shot to beat Boise State. And Texas has a real shot to beat Arizona State.
I wouldn't be surprised if Texas comes through. They could be favored against Arizona State.
Oh, they would
Penn
be?
State comes through. They'd be
would
favored
be.
against Boise. Notre Dame won't be favored.
No.
But and Ohio State could be favored against Oregon, depending on what they do against Tennessee if they win that game.
Look at the Ducks fans out
Quack, quack.
in full force.
I'd be
And
nervous
Sam
if I was
says
if I
Oregon
if I
versus
was
Notre Dame.
an Oregon fan, I'd be a little nervous.
Yeah. This is fun.
Oregon, Notre Dame.
So Adam,
I'll be shocked if Notre Dame's in the championship game.
oh, you know what's funny? There's an article on ESPN.com right now where a lot of the college football reporters, experts are picking Notre Dame to get to nobody
But
picked
to
them to
get through
win
Georgia.
to get to the title game.
Ooh, boy.
To get to the title game, Adam's picking on his Cowboys here, but he likes Indiana over Notre Dame. Okay, but let's play this thing out here,
Yeah,
right?
I get it.
If Notre Dame beats Indiana and then beats Georgia,
I don't know where it shakes out. I have to look at a bracket.
that's the 2. So they would play either Penn State or Boise State.
Yeah,
Very winnable.
sure.
Oregon has to go
I
through.
think anything is winnable. To
okay.
be quite honest, yeah, I think most of those games are winnable. I mean, they're probably not beating Oregon. They
Right.
probably wouldn't beat a team like Ohio State and maybe not even Tennessee. But I don't know that they're going to cross those paths. Texas would be tough.
Right. They wouldn't have to play Texas or Oregon or Ohio State until the title game.
So
So they could get there.
get there.
And then a lot of people say, well, then they would lose.
Could you imagine?
Now, Notre Dame haters who have seen this movie before in a different playoff format would say, watch, they'll lose to Indiana. All this talk about them advancing and they'll lose to Indiana. Home, Friday night. I can't imagine they're going to lose to the Hoosiers there, but anything is possible.
They've underachieved before.
Oh, have they ever? That's for sure. All right, that doesn't stop our college football conversation. We got one more thing to do.
And now, Dirty, Difficult, and Done. Sponsored by Performance Industrial.
Bill and Karen Miller, the owners of Performance Industrial, one of our presenting sponsors of Bocce for Our Boy a week ago. Our thanks to Bill and Karen for their unending support and what they do in the community. Incredible. Our Performance Industrial Dirty Difficult Done here. The Heisman race is and has been done.
And Ashley
What didn't get done
regrets
was a preseason bet from Ashley, who said, boy, I'd throw a little bit on Travis Hunter. Look at those odds. It's
It
worth
was
the shot.
crazy. What was
And-
it, 1,500 or something?
Yeah, I think
It might have
plus,
been
I think
more.
plus 15 or 1,700.
Yeah.
Yep. That would have been nice. And now he is
We'd be a little richer.
the overwhelming favorite to win the Heisman. This thing is this will be a landslide. Ashton Genty
'Cause
will finish second. Hunter will run away with this thing.
My other thought when I said that was, first of all, he's a two-way player, a very talented two-way player on a team that people care about.
Mhm.
But there was no one on that preseason Heisman list who
Wowed you.
and who blew you away, other than you thought like, well, Dylan Gabriel could be
Was he the
that
preseason
guy.
favorite,
I think
Gabriel? Yeah.
so. Could be that guy. Other than that, and there still aren't like quarterbacks. We've talked about quarterbacks who are coming out in the draft. Like, if I'm an NFL team, I don't know that I'm going goo goo gaga over Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. So looking at those names preseason, that was kind of my thought process. Like, nobody's blowing me away here. And I know a lot of that plays out kind of as the season goes on, but still, nobody's blowing me away here except for Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I'm high on Shedeur. I think he is and should be the number one overall pick. And then after that, right, Cam Ward would be second, but the guys like Dylan Gabriel and Riley Leonard, I mean, are they really first round quarterbacks? Only if a team, I think, gets absolutely desperate to get a QB.
Needy.
Yeah. All right, let's take another break here on Onorato and Miller. I mean, we've gone 26 minutes into the show, haven't said a word about the seismic moves in Major League Baseball free agency. The Mets win and the Yankees lose?
I was pretty wrong about that, huh?
That doesn't happen. We're back right after this.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
The great thing about novices, no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable. This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alphen House.
Big time moves in Major League Baseball's free agency, and this is different than what we've seen in recent years, I'll say, Ash, because
Love for the
the
Mets.
biggest names have waited until after the winter meetings. They've waited until after the first of the new year a lot of times as well. But this Blake Snell made an early move. Willie Adames, Juan Soto was eliminating teams very quickly. Scott Boras said, hey, this thing's going to get done soon. Max Fried is off the market as well. And like the biggest names that have been out there, and there are a couple left in Corbin Burns and Pete Alonso, but the biggest names that were out there have now signed. And I like that because it's not dragging on and on and on. It does take a little bit of the drama out of it, but I do like that we know where these guys are going and we can start looking ahead to 2025. Soto signs the richest contract in professional sports history with the New York Mets.
I mean, makes sense. He's one of the richest 100 people on the planet.
Steve Cohen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, he's right. He's obviously has the pockets to do it, but the Yankees do as well. The Yankees came in at 16 years, $760.
Right. It's not.
So it's not like
the
they
offer
said,
wasn't
whoa,
good.
we were only at 600. Like, no, I mean, the Yankees did more here than I expected.
Yeah.
And so if you're a Yankees fan, I think you kind of have to be like,
Yeah. Whatever.
he's yours.
Yep.
You got him.
Enjoy. I mean, Mets fans will enjoy him. Soto, enjoy. I hope I'm not wrong about that.
Yeah, Sam says not worth the money. Mets overpaid for him. Not my money.
I think he's worth the money.
Okay.
I think that the contract is way too long, but I also think that going into it that that's what you have to do. If you want to get 10 good years of Soto, you offer him 15 and you deal with it from there. Chances are he's not playing all the way through that contract anyway. He's got an opt-out after 5 years. If things go as poorly as things can in New York, which they can go poorly, maybe he's out after 5 years. Like if he doesn't win a World Series by the time he's up that he has an opt-out, he's gone.
I think even if he wins a World Series, if he performs at the same level that he has in the first 7 years, he's opting out anyway to get paid more. Now, he may stay with the Mets, but he opts out and gets another big contract to make more than the 51 a year he's going to make here. I think he's worth the money.
I agree.
It's just going to be a bad contract. Yeah.
It's not worse, though. Like, none of it's deferred. It's not worse than Shohei. You're going to be paying Shohei till he's 70 years old. Like, all the money is just going to be off the books after 15 years, which honestly I would prefer. Like, just be done with it. And again, Sam says it's not his money. It's not my money. It's not your money. It's Steve Cohen's money. Like,
this feels like it's going to be a bad contract because Soto already is not a strong outfielder.
No, he's not a good. He's not even a good.
He's
outfielder.
Below average.
Yeah.
So 3 more years in the outfield for him, maybe. And then he turns into a DH. I'm not saying the body breaks down, but what's really the value there? And I don't know that it's as bad as Pujols with the Angels and Miggy's second contract with the Tigers.
He's so young.
But this, I know, he's
just 26.
It just feels like it's not gonna. I don't know.
If he's okay till 35 and you get through 9 years of that contract, cool.
Yep.
We're good. He's one of the most consistent hitters in baseball who has power. He doesn't strike out like Aaron Judge is. He does. He doesn't go cold like Aaron Judge does. He is a better hitter than Aaron Judge is.
No question.
Not a better outfielder. So that's what you weigh.
Yeah.
I just don't think he doesn't make the Mets a World Series team right now. I'm not saying they won't be. The Mets are very good. But he doesn't make the Mets a World Series team right now.
I agree. And I said to you after the Yankees lost out on it, I said, as great as Juan Soto is, he doesn't feel like a player you wake up and miss.
Yeah, I think you do I think you might. Because that lineup is
Yankees.
You know how that goes. Yep. You know how that goes.
But there are opportunities to add here that won't cost you $51 million a year or $760 million over the lifetime of a contract. Now, the Yankees could eye somebody like Pete Alonso, but I think they're better going after Christian Walker from the Diamondbacks, who I really like to play first base. There's a comment in here from Adam, who's a loyal viewer, about Teoscar Hernandez, saying, but Teoscar Hernandez is a guy that the Yankees could look at as somebody who would add some pop to that as well. So, Jeff points out Judge turned down a lot of money to stay with the Yankees, and that was good for Judge's branding, right? Yep. He's the captain now. It made sense for Judge to stay there. I think Soto makes out better, but Soto's not a big endorsement. Again, he's not a big endorsement. Soto is a star. He's not a superstar. He's not. He is an excellent player. I'm not going to use the word great. He is an excellent player, and he will be a Hall of Famer if he stays healthy and he's on this track. But he's not. You're not going to say great.
He has the biggest contract in baseball.
Doesn't matter. He's not a superstar. A superstar is somebody that draws the attention beyond the diehard baseball fan. Right? Where people know the name because they're transcending the culture.
But maybe that happens in New York for him.
With the Yankees, it could have.
Well, but the Yankees have Aaron Judge, and that's the difference. Is you want to be the guy. There's only really room for one guy like that on a team. And as great as Francisco Lindor is, he's not that kind of guy.
Yeah.
So maybe you get and how great would it be? Maybe you get the Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, dueling billboards all over New York. It would be fun. Yeah. They're great friends. Apparently not good enough for Judge to convince him to stay, but
And I think Soto Lindor will be fun.
They're very similar. They have very similar vibes. Both just seem to have so much fun playing the game, which is exciting.
I like this question here because I'm curious if you all think the distraction around Trevor Bauer is worth the investment. The guy can clearly still pitch. He has been cleared a lot of what he was accused of doing or charged with, and why baseball suspended him. And so, does he get another shot here? I'm surprised. I am surprised. I'm going to say no.
Me too. It's been too long.
Because I'm surprised he already hasn't gotten that shot. I felt like if he was going to get the shot, Ash, and I'd be okay with him getting another chance here. I would think that it would have already happened for him.
I think so too.
Max Fried to the Yankees, leaves Atlanta in what is the largest deal in Major League Baseball history for a left-handed pitcher.
It's going to be a bad contract. That contract to me is worse than Juan Soto.
Too many years.
And it's not even close.
Yeah.
Too many years for a guy who has had so many injuries just here and there, like hamstring here, forearm here, that like too much missed time for a starting pitcher. His postseason numbers, I know he had that one start that everyone will remember, are not great. And there is a lot to like about him. If you told me we signed Max Fried and Juan Soto, I'd say we're winning a World Series next year. We didn't do the other half of that.
When Fried is healthy, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, not just one of the best lefties in baseball. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. Look at his regular season ERAs over the last 5 years. The guy, I don't think, has an ERA over 2.5, maybe a touch over 2.5 in that stretch.
I think it was like 3.25 last year.
Ooh.
But
yeah, maybe I'm talking about the 5 before that. Yeah. He's been terrific. And if you said to me the Yankees gave him 5 years and $35 million a year, I'd say that's going to be a good deal. But this is 8 and a 27 and change. Like, I would rather overpay him annually than give him the life of the contract. Now, look, players want the security, so they want the longer term deal, and I get that. But he's 30 years old.
If we get 3 good years out of him, I would be surprised.
Boy, I hope you get more than that.
Well,
I like Max.
Also, but like, think about this. If Garrett Cole, Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, though, like, if you said that to me 3 or 4 years ago, I would have said, like, that's the best starting, like that's the best 1 through 3 in baseball.
Yeah.
And then you don't mention any of the others who can fill all the holes. And those guys are pretty good too.
Yeah. You got the rookie of the year in Louis Seal.
I'm not so sure that that's as good as it should be.
Yeah. Dodgers reload with Blake Snell. Giants add Willie Adames. I wanted him in Atlanta. And the Red Sox get Garrett Crochet. I would have liked him in Atlanta too. Really good young pitcher from the White Sox to the Red Sox. All right, let's take a break here, Ash, on Onorato and Miller. When we come back, we get week 15 of the NFL season. We'll do our picks. We'll look at our records, as much as I would prefer not to. Back right after this.
I'm Jeff Ukelek. I'm owner of Bevs, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just going to have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always going to get the same experience when you shop at Bevs. At the end of the day, if you walk in your stores, you're going to see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
The great thing about Novice is no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable. This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alphen House.
All right, on to our NFL picks here in a moment, but I want to throw this up here because a buddy of ours says Mets are better than your Braves now. They probably are.
I mean, they probably were last year. They made it farther.
Okay.
Further. Made it further.
Yeah, because it's not a physical
not a distance. Yeah,
it's a
further.
Yeah, imaginary distance, the playoffs.
Leave
I
it to
guess,
us to
bore everybody at home with the differences in grammar. Yeah, I'm good at that. All right, how are we doing on our picks here? This was last week. Saints, Vikings, Cardinals, Bills, Chiefs, Saints, Vikings, Seahawks, Bills, Chargers. It all adds up to this.
Oh,
I think I've had 3 straight
great for
1 and
you. A little better for
4s
me.
here.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Something is wrong with the math.
Oh yeah, that's 42 and 33.
Okay, I was like,
42 and
I'm not
33.
sure how I went from really good to really.
I have
good.
not been proofreading these picks lately, and it shows 42 and 33, 38 and 36.
All right.
Okay.
That's a little better.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Dolphins and Texans, interesting game here. Miami certainly still in the playoff hunt. Houston can still win its division. Texans by 2.5. I'm taking the Dolphins here. Houston has been underwhelming, and I like Miami surging here. So give me the Dolphins. I'm going outright win for Miami.
Okay, well, mid 2.5. That's nothing crazy. I'm playing a game again this week, and I thought I started to do it. Remember 2 or 3 weeks ago, I picked
all underdogs,
all dogs.
Yep.
Flipping the script. We're going all favorites this week.
And the Lions as well. Bills, Lions. This one I sat and stared at for a long time because
I mean, back-to-back losses for the Bills.
I kept thinking the stinker is coming for Buffalo.
And it wasn't exactly a stinker.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't great.
And then we saw it last week. So like, okay, is it a bounce back? But how do you bounce back
against this team
at Detroit? The Rams just hung 44 on you. What do you think Detroit is capable of? Give me the Lions to win by at least a field goal.
I mean, listen, the Bills will play better, not in the elements. They're in a dome that will play to their advantage as well. So this could be a real shootout. But yeah, they're going to give up a lot of points.
Yeah. Steelers and Eagles here. Eagles seem like a complete disaster from the outside. A.J. Brown says we need to fix the passing game. But we both like Philly here. Pittsburgh is the one that it keeps it all together because of Mike Tomlin. It feels like everything stays in-house. I just think, I mean, the Eagles' winning streak continues.
Yeah.
They just feel like they're too explosive for Pittsburgh, as good as that defense is. I don't know that Russ and company can keep up.
Yeah, not gonna score with Jalen and company.
Yeah, okay. Buccaneers and Chargers.
You know, the Chargers have let me down a little bit, it feels like, but I'm still riding them. And I think, I mean, they're at home, they're favorites. And I wasn't sure on this one. I really wasn't. But because I had already picked the other 3, I thought, you know what? I'm going with the whole week, and I'm going to try the Chargers one more time and see if they burn me.
LA has not, I think they have maybe one win against a team with a winning record. That's Denver.
Yeah, it's not been great.
Yeah. So I'm taking my shot here with Tampa on the road.
Which is also not a great team.
Baker. No, but Tampa sees the path to a division title here, right?
Such a bad division.
So like, hey, this is a game we can win on the road. We better go do it.
Yep.
While Atlanta continues to flounder, will they go to Michael Penix anytime soon? Packers and Seahawks here. This is a game I will feel this way for the rest of my life. And these 2 losses came more than a decade ago.
Oh, boy.
But it feels like Green Bay never wins at Seattle. The Fail Mary and that NFC Championship game that went to overtime because Green Bay couldn't recover an onside kick. Now, the Packers have beaten the Seahawks since, but those 2 games will never leave my brain at Seattle. Green Bay's the better team here. They should win this game. They should cover the 2.5. But if Seattle wins by even like 10, I'm not going to be surprised.
Oh, boy.
Because this feels like a bad, ugly spot for the Packers.
Okay.
But I'm picking the better team here.
I think the Packers win by 10.
Okay. I hope you're right, because I won't see that game.
No, you won't.
So
I might not see all of it.
A little bit of comfort there. I'm going Miami, Detroit, Philly, Tampa, Green Bay. You're going Houston, Detroit, Philly, LA. Green Bay. Okay.
I like when we're a little different.
I need a good week. I haven't had a good week in a long time.
I need a good one.
Barely hanging on to over 500. Not pretty. All right, quick time out here. When we come back, Albany FireWolves head coach Glenn Clark joins the show. Always a fun conversation with him, not always strictly what's happening on the field or the game itself. We'll talk with Clarky when we come back.
I'm Jeff Fuklick. I'm owner of Bevs, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just going to have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always going to get the same experience when you shop at Bevs. At the end of the day, if you walk in these stores, you're going to see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on. For cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair, you can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Albany House.
Albany FireWolves are back home this weekend, Saturday night, MVP Arena, taking on Calgary. The head coach is Glenn Clark. Clarky, a close game and a blowout to start the season. But what do you look for, aside from what we do in the media or fans are able to glean from watching games? What do you look for early on in a season to let you know that the team is either where you want it to be or it isn't?
There's a couple of ways to answer that. Like, one I look for is I thought we played really well against Saskatchewan, and I thought arguably we probably deserved a better fate, particularly in overtime. I think we kind of dominated the overtime. So wasn't unhappy with how we played, and they're a good team. So I knew going in it was going to be sort of one of those coin flip games where a break here and there, some momentum here and there. So I think we've played well in both games, but it never really changes what I'm looking for. Like, every week we try to sharpen the pencil, right? We look at what we've done well, and then areas for improvement, and we do that process every week. So we will break down film. We will look at areas to improve. We'll tweak certain things, with the goal being that you're a better version of yourself at the end of the year than you were at the beginning of the year.
But do you care who scores early on or how you score early on, or like in terms of those observations, metrics, does any of that matter to you this early on?
No. I mean, and to be honest, people will say, hey, so-and-so got 4 goals. I don't even know. I mean, I know because I'm taking hot stats and things like that. But what I'm looking for is more the patterning of how we score. How did we get that result? And what play were we running? Was it transition? Was it 5-on-5? Was it power play? So I'm looking more schematically at how did we score and what did we do, and who scores it is just sort of a byproduct of what we've done. We will pay attention to that on a larger scale when we look at individuals. If somebody's not producing and there's time to shuffle things or make a change, but during the course of the game, it's more about how did we do it? Was it through transition? Was it 5-on-5? Was it man up? And what did we run? And what sets are having success, and those kinds of things.
Are you a patient person?
No, I don't think so. I can come across that way sometimes because I'm trying to look that way, but I don't think I am. I think I'm relatively impatient in my life and in my coaching, and I don't wait a long time to make changes or decisions, or I won't let things play out for a long period of time. I'll address them. So
okay, that was kind of like I'm thinking to myself, do you start a season and say, all right, when we get to the quarter point, I'll evaluate things, and then the halfway or 7-8 games in, you're every single game.
Well, not only every single game, almost every single shift. I mean, if something isn't working, we're on the iPad, we're changing it, we're doing things. I'll give you an example. And we were playing Toronto, and we had two transition exchanges where I wasn't happy how the door was being managed on the defensive end. So in the first quarter, I switched the guys who are running the door. So that's how specific I get with making changes. Like,
okay, for people who aren't really on the inside, and maybe they go to your games, but on the inside of the NLL, before every game, you're assigning guys on the door. Does that change game to game?
It doesn't. No, typically it just, this person's on the defensive door, and they'll switch during the game to defense to offense.
Sure.
But I wasn't happy with how that was going in the first quarter, so I switched it during the game.
Do guys take that personally? Is that a demotion?
I don't know whether they do or not, but I mean, it's just, for me, it's business, right? It's my job to make sure that we are doing things efficiently. So I just tell them this is a change we're making. So when you ask about how patient am I, that's a pretty good example of my impatience in game.
And people would look at that final score and go, did we have to worry about the door so much? Either way, Dougie was phenomenal. What are you seeing from him early on?
Just more of the same of what we've talked about in the past couple of years. And the reality is Dougie is getting to the age now where goalies start to hit their stride. So it's usually that 27, 28 years old when they start to, kind of figure it out. So everything up to now for Dougie has been sort of building to get him better. And he's relatively young in the goalie game still. So I thought the game against Toronto was just magnificent. Just the way he was moving, the way he saw the ball.
All right, this weekend, Calgary. You and I talked, like, I don't know if Calgary's been in Albany before. Either way, it's been a little while, I would imagine, if they have been. So, and we know the turnover and the change that happens in this league seemingly year to year. What jumps out on the tape to you?
Offense for them. I mean, they are really strong on the offensive end of the floor. They've got, they've got three. What do they got? They got three guys that have played for Canada in the indoor game, and two other guys that were invited to the Canadian camp where I was, but couldn't make it for work and personal. So they've arguably got five offensive players that are Team Canada caliber indoor players. So they are a real challenge offensively. So, our goal is to keep that number manageable. Let our offense, let our transition get some momentum. But I mean, they put up 18 in their first game. So you don't want to get into a shootout with these guys. So that is, I would say, the strength of their group right now is managing their offensive unit, because they're a weapon.
Do guys who have played for you in the indoor game on the national team ever chirp at you when they're an opponent in the NLL? Do you hear any of that ever, whether they didn't get enough playing time or they got cut before the squad?
We'll find out this year. I mean, we'll see a few of them. Not typically. It's mostly goes to their personality. Like if they're somebody that chirps in general, whether I coach them with Canada or not, they're still going to do it. Okay. So, I mean, you do develop a relationship with these guys. It's a pretty intense 13, 14 days together. So for the most part, it's good. But I mean, when you get on that opposing bench, it's, all that is forgotten. It's the here and now.
Yeah. There's just so much talk about, like, would Jason Tatum take it out on Steve Kerr when the Celtics and the Warriors played, because Tatum didn't get as much burn as a lot of people thought he should have in the Olympics. I just was curious if, like, a guy scores 3 goals, is he running by your bench and saying something to you?
Well, again, it goes to personality, right? Some guys I'm sure will, and some guys won't. I mean, that's the one thing about sports and pro sports is it is impossible to keep everybody happy.
Who talked the most in your playing days?
In terms of a player and stuff like that?
Yeah, an opponent where you're like, oh, this is going to be a long night because this guy just doesn't shut up.
Well, I played with guys like that. Steve Toll was one who yapped all the time. I'm trying to think opponents. I wasn't a talker at all. I didn't say a word. Yeah,
It's also such a quick game that there isn't a lot of time for that. The field game would be different. The NBA is different, but this is so fast moving. I don't even know that you have enough time to trash talk somebody.
Well, you don't. And people may not realize this, but those quick restarts on turnover, a possession, that's a relatively new rule in the NLL. And it was put in to avoid exactly what you're talking about, because there would be, a ball go to bounds or a turnover, and they didn't have those quick starts. So that's when guys would come together and push and shove and all that. And the league said, you know what, we're going to do these quick starts. And when they first brought that in, you'd see a guy standing there, and the guy would pick up the ball and go. And so everybody kind of figured it out and go, all right, like, this is over. So you're right. And it is funny you notice that, because that quick start rule in the league was put in to stop scrums and skirmishes. So you're right. There's not really it is 100 miles an hour each way, and you don't really have time for that.
Right, you just like hear somebody screaming something as they maybe blew by you on an exchange. I don't know.
Yeah, because there used to be a lot of scrums and fights and pushing and shoving like on dead balls all the time, right? Sure. And now it's just, you know what, quick start, pick it up, and if you interfere with the guy, it's penalty. So guys have adapted over the last, I don't even know how many years. It feels relatively recent, but I've been in it for so long. It wasn't there when I played, but I think it's a good change.
I don't think we've spoken since the season started. You had a quiet off season. You just decided to climb Everest. What? How did this happen? And obviously your wife did it as well.
Well, yeah, my wife, Cassie, is the reason it happened. She was, you've met Cassie and you've got to know her. She is we are always going on an adventure every year. So this summer was crazy because we did a family trip with all 4 kids. We did a cruise. I was back from that for a few days. Then I went to the Worlds for 14 days. And then I was back from that for 5 days. Then I went to Everest for 3 weeks. And then I was back for 5 days and training camp started. So I said to her, we might have to dial it down next year, because this was crazy. I was home like 10 days in 2 or 3 months or something like that. It was crazy. So it's something my wife wanted to do for a long time. Her and I had booked it, and then we put it out to some friends. My brother came, Rich Lisk, who runs the Ottawa franchise. Funny enough, where our oldest guy plays. Right. Him and his wife came, and so it was pretty incredible. It was, the way I describe it is, you see the most beautiful things you'll ever see. I love that I did it, but there is not a chance I would do it again.
Okay, so is your personality more cruise or more Everest?
Everest. Yeah. A lot of stuff we've done. Like, we've done the Great Wall of China. We've done the Galapagos Islands. We've done Machu Picchu, the Amazon jungle. We've done, we do those kinds of things. We've done a lot of Europe, but it's all, we'll go to Rome and do the Vatican and Trevi Fountain and the Colosseum. So we do that kind of stuff. We've actually only ever done a beach one once with the families, and Cassie's kind of impatient like me. Neither of us really liked it. We can't sit around, so we just we don't do those ones.
There's a lot to see in the world. You got a pretty good list going there, man.
Oh, it's large, and it gets added to every year.
Impressive. All right, good luck this weekend. Thanks as always, taking this winding road with me wherever the conversation goes, Clarky. We appreciate it, man.
That's what makes it interesting. No problem. Anytime, man.
Scrambling to find those last-minute gifts? Relax, Alpenhaus has you covered. Visit today and give the gift of adventure. We offer the latest in Yeti coolers and drinkware, as well as home goods from Stonewall Kitchen family of brands. Check out our incredible selection of skis and snowboards from the industry's top manufacturers. If you're looking for winter apparel, we have the best in performance and style. And an Alpenhaus gift card is the perfect stocking stuffer. Make it a holiday season they'll never forget. Find something for everyone on your list at Alpenhaus. Visit us in Amsterdam, Clifton Park, and High Adventure in Latham.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
And just like that, that's the end of the show for the week. Good luck
Everest.
to Clarky and the FireWolves climbing Everest and now trying to beat Calgary. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great weekend.